Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.
Dragons eat noodles on Tuesdays. Did you know that? Good thing today is not Tuesday. Happy Thursday, boys and girls. Welcome back to our PBS classroom. My name is Mrs. Vay, and I'm so excited to have you join me so that we can become amazing readers and writers. Now, remember, all of the books this week was recommended by Miss Parker, the librarian at PIO. So thank you, Miss Parker, for recommending these books for me to share with all of the boys and girls at home or in the classroom watching. And boys and girls, I gotta say, this book was a hilarious book to read. So if you want to read a funny book, make sure you are checking out Dragons Eat Noodles on Tuesday by John Stahl, illustrated by Tagog Bentley. Now remember, I said that if you check out a book and it has a book jacket, a lot of the time it's going to have a little summary or what it's going to be about or text from the book on the book jacket, and sometimes that's going to determine if you want to read the whole book. And so this one says, once upon a time begins the big blue monster who is trying to tell a fabulous story. It needs to be about a kid who is eaten by a dragon, he insists, but his little yellow monster friend is not convinced that this is a good idea. Dragon stories usually don't end well, he warns. As the two monsters argue over how the story should go, a hungry dragon named Dennis is listening nearby. Dennis knows exactly how the story should go. And by the way, what day is it? Watch out. Now, doesn't that seem interesting? That's what got me hooked into wanting to read this book, and so that's why I read it. So if you want to read Dragons Eat Noodles on Tuesdays, you can check to see if this book is available on Sora, if you have the Sora app, at a county library or at your school library, especially if you go to PIO. It's going to be there next week when I return this book. Okay? All right, boys and girls. Now, don't forget, some of you guys are becoming amazing readers and writers. Don't forget, you can also write to me here in our PBS classroom. Use the address that you see below. Tell me all that you're learning. Tell me all that you're reading. And I can't wait to get your letters so I can read what you guys have written me. Or if you just want to write me a story, I would love that also. And if you include your home address or your return address, I'll send you one of these fun activity books. So if you don't have one, that's how you get one. You just have to write a letter to me. So I'll be waiting to receive your letters. All right? Awesome. Okay, boys and girls, let's get started with our learning today. Now remember, all week we're going to be focusing on our grammar, mechanics, and our genre writing, which is explanatory essay. So today for grammar, we're going to focus on contractions. For our mechanic lessons, we're going to be focusing on our possessive pronouns. And then we'll go into our explanatory essay, which today we're going to be revising and editing. So remember, we wrote our draft yesterday. Today we're going to revise and edit to make it sound and flow better. Okay? So let's get started with our grammar for today. Now, today we're going to focus on a contraction, and we've already learned this, so this is a review for us. Okay, a contraction is a what? It's a short form of two words. Remember, it's two words, and I like to say we crash them together. When we do that, we lose some letters, and we put in, good job, a what? Apostrophe to put those two words together because we've lost some letters. So, for example, I am is, read it with me, I'm good. She is, she's good. He is, he's, it is, it's. Good job. Keep reading with me. They are becomes they're. Good. We are becomes we're. Good. You are becomes your. Good job, boys and girls. You guys remember this. Awesome. Now, let's practice. Let's see if you guys can put these words, these two short words, into contractions. Ready? It says, I am thinking about Earth. What are my two words? I am. How do I make I am into a contraction? Good job. I hear you. I'm. Check it. Check it. Does yours look like mine? Awesome. Now don't forget, if you have a paper nearby or a whiteboard, make sure you take it out so that you are following along with me. Okay, let's keep going. She is worried about resources. What are my two words? She is. Now without looking at the chart on the top, can you tell me the contraction for she is? Good job. I heard you. She's. Put the apostrophe because we are missing the I. She's. Good job. Check it. Good. Let's keep going. They are trying to collect old papers. What is the contraction for they are? Good job. I heard you. Their apostrophe. Good. Check it. Thumbs up. I see you. Good job. Let's keep going. I think that you are very helpful. Here are my two small words. You are. So instead of saying, I think that you are, I can say, I think that you're. Good job. You're very helpful. So you see how I can replace you are with your and it still makes sense? That's why it's a contraction. It's a shortened way to write two words. Good job, boys and girls. So as you're writing, make sure that your contractions are written correctly. Okay, now let's go into our mechanics. And today, we're going to be focusing on possessive nouns. Remember we learned that yesterday, let me say that again, a possessive pronoun. We're going to be learning possessive pronouns. Now, yesterday we did learn possessive pronouns, and we know that they take the place of a possessive noun. But today we're just going to work with the words their, your, and its, because those are not contractions. And it's tricky because their, your, and its gets misused all the time. So let's quickly go over some of these, what I call rules for these possessive pronouns. So remember, a possessive pronouns tells who or what has or owns something, right? And do not confuse possessive pronouns with contractions, right? That's where it becomes tricky because they sound the same. So because they sound the same, but they are spelled differently and they have different meanings. So this is where a lot of people get confused. So here are my possessive pronouns, their, your, and its, right? That's what we're learning today. But their, T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E, is the contraction for they are. But you see how they sound the same, there and there. Your, again, possessive pronoun, but your, which is the contraction for you are, sounds the same, right? Its and its sounds the same, but this its with no apostrophe, possessive pronoun. Its with the apostrophe s is a contraction, not a possessive pronoun. So I have these two little charts here to help us. Okay, for your. Because your shows ownership because it's a possessive pronoun. Here's a trick. If you put the word my in it and it still makes sense, then it's a possessive pronoun. If you put the two words you are in place of your and it makes sense, then it's the contraction, not the possessive pronoun. Okay, just little tricks to help you. And there, and there, those are the tricky, these are what we call those tricky homophones. Just a little trick. There has an I, so it looks like a person. That means it belongs to something. There, again, it's a contraction, so change it. And if you can say they are in a sentence, then it's the contraction. So let's practice. Ready? They're making posters. So remember that trick? Change it to they are. They are making poster. Does that make sense? Yes. They're, as in a person, making poster. So which one is it? They're making posters or they are making posters? They are. They're making posters because it's not their posters. If it's their posters, then it will be the possessive pronouns. I know. Let's keep going. You guys are doing good. Your poster is about saving water. So your, as in you are poster, is about saving water. That's the contraction. Or your poster. Now remember that trick? Change it to my. My poster is about saving water. That makes sense. So it's a possessive pronoun. You see that? Last one. It's a very colorful poster. Okay, so It is a very colorful poster, or it's, as in it belongs to someone, a very colorful poster. What is it? It is. It's the contraction. How did you guys do? Those are tricky, boys and girls. So as you're writing, make sure you guys are checking to make sure you're putting the possessive pronouns if it belongs to someone, or contraction if you can break it apart into 2 words. All right? Okay, let's go into our explanatory essay. Okay? So remember, explanatory essay explains the topic clearly. It provides facts and definitions related to the topic. It's going to use linking words and connect ideas. We're going to end with a concluding sentence or section. We started with our draft, right? Getting all of our ideas out. Lisa wrote her her draft. Sorry, that was her pre-writing. She wrote her draft from her graphic organizer. Today, we're going to be focusing on our revising and editing. So we're going to read to make sure that it makes sense. We're going to add, remove, or change, and we're going to fix errors, fix capitalization and punctuation. So that's why we need a green or a red, depending on what we are doing. Okay, so I always like to revise first. So I'm going to get my green to help me revise. Okay, so remember, we're just checking to see if our writing makes sense. So as I was reading this with Lisa, I noticed that she's had all of our writing, and then she had the sentence, and she says, on green roofs, special materials is placed over the regular roof. Then soil is put on the top. Plants are added. And then she said, I think flowers are the best plants for green roofs. Now, does that sentence go with her story? Or not her story, her essay? It doesn't, because she's writing, I think. Okay, it shouldn't be anything that you think, because it's a factual essay, right? It's all based on facts and details, right? So another thing, so as I'm reading with her, I was thinking, okay, so she was talking about the benefits, and then she said something about people can add beehives. Does that have anything to do with having benefits? No. So I told her, maybe we can delete this sentence because it doesn't make sense, okay? And then I said, well, up here, and I forgot, we were going up here, and then she said there was roof with many benefits, and then she started giving me all the examples. So I said, let's add the word for example. You see how I'm going to add to it so that it makes sense? All right? And so as I was reading with her, remember we read this yesterday, I went, you know what? This was my good concluding sentence. Let's add in another sentence here to talk about, remember, because she's talked about in her draft, something about the environment and how it gives animals a place to live. So we're going to add some sentences there so that it makes sense, okay? And then tomorrow we'll focus on the editing, and then we'll go to our publishing, which is the final draft. So don't forget to come back, because we didn't quite finish with our revising and editing, but at home, make sure you guys are getting your green. If you have one, a green color pencil, or marker, and revise. Check and have an adult help you reread to make sure it makes sense. All right? You're doing such a great job. Have a great day learning. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Good morning to a brand new day. Time to learn and games to play. Learning things is so much fun. Learning is good for everyone.